I don't know. You tell me.
I tell you. I asked you the question.
I threw it back to you.
Oh, you just right on to me. Well, I mean, yeah, when you're dealing with, you know, different thoughts and feeling down, you definitely need to express that to somebody because it's a result of things being bottled up on the inside, right? And so it has to come out, right? And so you need somebody to be able to vent to, like I think Amani was saying, or like she posed that question earlier. You need somebody to talk to, and you just need, everyone should have that someone or group or just people in their life that they can go to and they can feel comfortable expressing, private things and maybe even secret things. So there's, everybody has three different lives. And this is what they teach, I believe, in the FBI. Learned this on a podcast from a former FBI agent or CIA. Maybe it was CIA. I think it was CIA.
Probably CIA.
So everybody has a public life, which is their life that they display to the public. They have a private life, which is essentially shared with, just their family and friends. And they have a secret life where practically nobody is in there except maybe a spouse, maybe a close friend. And so I think as operatives, they were trying to, when they were trying to crack somebody, they were definitely trying to break through the public life into the private, right? But if you could get into the secret life, well, now it's game over. You can extract any information that you need, and you were, really being an effective spy. So, yeah. And so I think the practical way to deal with it is to, have people that you trust and that you can be vulnerable with, that have access to your private life and possibly even a part of your secret life as well.
That's deep.
Yeah. So, but Ruslan has a good take on how to practically deal with depression. Before we get into that clip, we have
I got a question.
And that question is, what practical ways can help combat depression? I just gave you one that I think can help. What are some ways that you think can help? Leave it down in the comments as we go through this video.
Soul should be your highest priority.
Movement can be a huge way to combat mental health. Just getting your dopamine levels right, getting things reset, going outside, going on walks, getting fresh air, getting vitamin D. All of those things are extremely helpful. I think we ignore the very real practical side of physical activity. And I don't mean you becoming a meathead and getting shredded. I mean specifically movement. We sit more than any other generation that's ever came before.
Yeah, I think that's good. Because I think a lot of us tend to be very sedentary. And when you don't move, you're not moving your body, you're not having your blood pumping, that can definitely impact your brain, because you're not having much movement going on there. So I'm definitely team movement, and I have like 5, I think, practical ways to combat depression, but we will get to that later.
Yeah, so make sure you stay tuned. But yeah, I think I like that approach, like movement, just the practical side of moving around, because a lot of times when you feel in a funk, you just kind of want to curl up into a ball and you just want to stay, right? I remember when I was going through some things in college, I would just want to, sit in my dorm room all day. Like if I didn't have anything to do that day, I'm just going to just sit in this bed, just turn on Netflix, play Madden, do whatever, and you just wallow in it. You literally sit sedentary in it. But if you get around moving, like that just kind of changes your whole chemistry of, the wiring of how your brain is processing at that time. And so that can even help you start to feel better. And if you combat that with, maybe something that I said a little bit earlier, with being able to go to, and connect with a community, well, then now you're headed in the right direction to, really knock this thing away, so that, because you have people that are also lifting you up as well.
Yeah, something my mom says all the time, like whether we're actually sick or like physically sick, but even if we like feel down or sad about something, she's like, go take a shower. And the shower make you feel better. And it's like, At first, when she says it, we're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But then you actually do it, you're like, oh, that was so relieving. That was so relaxing. So,
No, there is some science to that because that podcast
yeah.
that I sent you, did you get to that part?
Yeah, she said, like, taking a bath is like a hug.
Yeah, like literally taking a warm bath is almost the equivalent to like a warm hug. And so
Yeah.
that's why people feel really good when they get out of a, just a nice warm shower. And I can definitely attest that that is accurate, 100% accurate. And so, yeah, movement is something, and I would even take it a step further, being out in nature.
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people get
definitely.
enough sun
Yeah.
because like everything's like in a building, and now you even have this work from home thing that a lot of people are doing 2 to 3 times a week, and so sometimes there's no reason to go outside, but you should make a conscious effort to go outside every single day. Like Marquette from The Saint and the Sinner always says 30 minutes of sweat every single day.
Yeah.
He does it every single day like a religion.
Daily movement.
Yeah. And yeah, you should at least bare minimum be outside, at least go for a walk, get some sun, because that's part of your biochemistry is to be out in the sun, be out in nature. And if you're just, confined in this, stuffy apartment or confined in this stuffy house, well, then you're going to get stuffy results.
Yeah, and then also oxygen. Like when you're out in nature, you just get an abundance of just fresh oxygen. Whereas if you're in the house all day, like, especially if you don't have any plants, it's just like, I guess, sitting oxygen. I don't know scientifically, but,
Yeah.
but I think it's a different experience of oxygen,
Yeah.
I would say. But yeah, when my aunt, she's like in her 60s, 70s, and she takes a 6-mile walk every single day.
Every single day?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, she was like, even like if it's cold outside, she goes out there, she makes sure not to look at the temperature so that she has no excuse not to go outside.
Wait, what if it's, colder than she expects? What'd she do then?
I don't know, but she said
Like, what if you go outside and you're like, oh, that's
don't
nippy,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess
she
she
turn
like
around and
maybe
go?
she like steps outside and it's like, oops, it's a little cold. Let me like add on some layers. I
Okay,
don't
got
know.
you. The point is she gets the job done every day.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, that's dope. That's really dope. So, but yeah, you want to be outside. You want to get fresh air because that will, vastly change your mood and the direction in which, like, you're headed for the day. Like, I often talk about you want to create positive momentum, and I often talk about this in the context of sports, but it works in life as well. It's like when you have positive momentum towards something, well then, things will start to, shift and break for you a lot quicker, right? But also the adverse is true. If you have negative momentum just piling up for you, then things are going to start breaking down, and they'll break down rapidly and faster as you keep building up negative momentum. And so you always want this positive momentum shifting for you. And one of those ways is to move, get up and move, but also move in nature as well. Let's get into some of our points. Let's start with Ms. Kenya.
Okay, guys, here's the tea. I got you. All these things will help you if you are dealing with depression. And yeah, let's get into it. So number one, make sure your soul is fed, which we saw in the second segment of today's show. Make sure you're in the Word. Make sure you're being prayerful. Make sure you have gratitude, because those things will just make sure that your soul is fed well and fed with good meat. And those are very important. And number two, you want to eat well because your body is a machine. So what you eat, what you take in, is also what you're going to put out. People are going to see it on your face. You're going to see it on your face. And also just energy-wise, if you're not eating good food, your body will show, you will feel like a lack of energy depending on what you eat. And then number three, move your body, which is what me and Josh were talking about. And number four, have a hobby, do something fun. Like for me, I personally really enjoy Pilates, and I really enjoy pickleball, and I enjoy running sometimes. And those just happen to also be movement. But I also have a friend who, her thing is making scarves and in knitting or crocheting things. So it doesn't necessarily have to be movement, but just something to get your brain activated and your body moving, and something to make that brings joy into your life. And then number 5, have conversations with people in person. Because I think, conversations on the phone or like through a screen, like that can be great, but I think in person there's just like a different level of relationship that can be built there. So I definitely am team talk to people in person. So
Now, I like how you said about like the food that you eat, because that really shifted for us about a year ago when we started, buying more grass-fed, grass-finished meats, and, really watching what we put into our body. Like we still indulge in, sugary things sometimes, but it's a lot less, right?
Yeah.
And as a result, we notice that we feel a whole lot better, even if we're physically more exhausted, right? It's not like we're like, it's just like, oh, okay, like I can still, get through my day and I can still be productive. So what you eat has a profound impact on your mood and your overall health. So, this is not obviously professional or medical or health advice or whatever you want to say, but you definitely want to be eating like grass-fed meat. You want to go to the farmer's market. That's what you want to do.
or find a local farmer, even if you
Yeah. So go to the farmer's market or find a local farmer, because they're going to have, just one, they're going to have fresher food and fresher meat in general, and 2, you build those relationships. You never know what type of deal you might strike up. You might be getting some eggs for like $1 instead of $8 at the grocery store. And at the grocery store, you don't know how long them eggs have been there, because there's no federal regulation on how long eggs have to stay. They don't have like a shelf life. So that's just
do with that what you will.
Yeah, I'm just putting that out there. All right, here's my point. We need to ensure that we strive for balance in our lives, whether it's diet, spiritual practices, exercise, or political ideals. We need to ensure we get a healthy dose of the things that are good. We also need people that hold us accountable and encourage us to stay balanced. So the key to combating depression and, these negative thoughts is, staying balanced in everything that you do, right? You never want to get too high, never want to get too low. You never want to be too right or too left if you're talking about like your political ideals, right? You can lean a certain way, but you also need to understand where the other side's coming from and why they even have those ideas in the first place. Because oftentimes it's not from a place of malice, or a lot of times they're coming from a place of, okay, this is an issue. How do we combat that? And you may not agree with the prescription, but you agree with the actual diagnosis of the problem. And so you can start from there. But yeah, you always just want to get a healthy dose of anything that you're doing with your life so that you can stay balanced. And of course, theme of the day, surround yourself. That's really the theme of the channel. Surround yourself with good quality people, and that is going to help sustain you throughout your entire life.